I'm back! Hey guys, long time no see, happy 2019 and all that shit. I've been gone for a long time, no more excuses, I'm back. I've decided to just let go of 2018. I read far too many books. I guess that's the main reason why I stopped making videos, is because I read too many books to be able to carry on making videos and sharing them with you. So I've decided that I'm going to do a mid-month wrap-up with you today for January. So far this month I've completed 4 books and I'm halfway through another one at the moment. So let's dive right on into it. I think you'll be very surprised by this one because it's not all of them are my usual genre, which is very interesting. If you're new here, you might not know my usual genre is thrillers and horror. So to have memoirs and non-fiction and contemporary is quite strange. The first book I want to talk to you about today is Eggshell Skull by Bri Lee. This is a non-fiction memoir. It really captivated me because it does have that element of true crime that I absolutely adore. As you might know, I've become obsessed with true crime podcasts. That's kind of where I've been, guys. Before I knew anything about this book, I had to get my hands on it because, I mean, this cover is just... But then I also met Bri Lee at the Brisbane Writers Festival last year. I don't even remember, August? I don't know, but she seemed fascinating and the book sounded so good, and I am ashamed that it took me this long to read it because I ended up giving it a 5-star review on Goodreads. This is a fucking heavy memoir about Bri Lee, who recounts her experience at being a law graduate. She gets her first job as a judge's associate at the Queensland District Court. She'd travel with the judge to the jurisdictions, predominantly sexual assault cases. Now, unfortunately for Bri, this job comes with a lot of things she needs to come to terms with in her past. She was sexually assaulted when she... I can't talk today, God. I'm not used to this again, guys. Like, I haven't filmed the video in so long. Oh, fuck, I spilt wine all over me. Right. Where were we? This job is making her come to terms with her past, which involves being sexually assaulted herself in her primary school days. She becomes inspired to finally bring her perpetrator to court and finally have him be brought to justice after walking free for so long. Being on either side of the justice system, Bri brings us a very courageous and brave story, but it's also incredibly disheartening, heartbreaking, and infuriating too, because this is real life. This is what the justice system is like, and it's filthy and it's disgusting, and it makes me so angry that people get away with things so often, and so many women don't get what they deserve out of this, you know. Their lives were fucking ruined, but it's true, and that made this book so scary but so real, and it was raw, honest, amazing. I just cannot recommend it enough. I really think it should be compulsory reading for everyone. Just the insight into the Australian justice system is so disturbing, but I've also been always very intrigued by being a lawyer, or, you know, what the bailiffs do and the judges and the jurors and everything. So this book is a really good insight into the day-to-day lives of those people, which I really thoroughly enjoyed. Another thing that really made this book stand out to me was that Bri Lee tackles a lot of mental health issues in this book. I was amazed. Like, I didn't know the extent of her mental health issues when I met her last year, and reading this book, I couldn't see the two like at all together. Like, she's such a inspiring happy young woman, and I just, you know, she's so motivational and she's achieved such amazing things, but she hated herself. She had eating disorders, she self-harmed, and she does not shy away from that in this book, and I really commend her for that. So yes, this book is jam-packed with trigger warnings, but it is perfect and so harrowing. I highly recommend it. I also had like a very big Brisbane theme because it's set in Brisbane, so I obviously loved it because this is where I live, and I don't often, you know, now that I'm in Australia, I read a lot of books set in Sydney or Melbourne or somewhere, but not really many books set in Brisbane, so that was really interesting and nice for a change. The second book that I will be talking to you about is What is wrong with me? An Anonymous Girl by Greer, Hendricks and Sarah Pekkenan. I really struggled to write my Goodreads review for this book. It's the kind of book, like, say, Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough, where it's best going in blind, because if you say too much, you're going to ruin the book for everyone. And as always, my reviews are completely spoiler-free, so don't fret, you're fine here. An Anonymous Girl has dual narration. We've got this character called Jess, who is a freelance makeup artist living in New York City, and then we have Dr. Shields. Dr. Shields is this really manipulative, strange character that is doing a study on morals and ethics. Our other character, Jess, gets lured into being a part of this study with the promise of extra cash. She's a struggling makeup artist in New York City, living in a shithole of an apartment, so any extra cash would be really bloody helpful for her. The study seems quite simple. All she needs to do is answer a series of questions as honestly and openly as possible, and in this study she is referred to as Subject 52. While Dr. Shields monitors her answers, she becomes really intrigued and decides that she's going to start focusing on Jess solely for another study that she's busy doing, but then Dr. Shields' intentions are questioned because something just doesn't seem quite right with what she's looking into. I feel like I'm in the minority here because I felt like this was a very odd, complex and clinical book. It's cleverly plotted and a very good insight into psychology and obsession, but I just found it a bit far-fetched. I guess I just found the twists really subtle and a bit basic, and I'm struggling to understand the hype because my god, this thing has been getting amazing reviews. And I mean, The Wife Between Us was good, but I don't know, I wasn't sold on this book. I have heard that it is becoming a TV show from the creators of HBO's Sharp Objects, so I am interested to see how they bring it to the screen. And I don't know, I feel like, because I listened to it on audio in one sitting, on Audible, so maybe I missed something. I'm not 100% sure why it didn't hit the mark for me, but it didn't. I've also heard that The Wife Between Us is just about to become a feature film, so I am very excited to see that, and I'll definitely be watching An Anonymous Girl when it finally comes out, and I'll definitely give Greer, Hendricks and Sarah Pekkenan another chance because I think they are a great team of writers. Like, their writing is not bad whatsoever. I'm not sure about this book and I can't tell you why. Now, to get back onto a happier topic, I read a non-fiction memoir again called Educated by Tara Westover, and I do believe this has been getting a fair bit of hype on the YouTube community for a while now, so I eventually jumped onto the bandwagon, and guys, I bloody loved it. Shut up. I honestly felt like this book was superbly written, to the extent that I actually really felt like it was more of a novel than it was, like a fiction book, than it was non-fiction, because I was just transported to this world in rural Idaho. I was enraptured by her beautiful descriptions of her surroundings. To me, the message I got from Educated by Tara Westover is that no matter where we're from, we have the power to achieve whatever we want as long as we work hard for it. And I think that is such an incredible and powerful message for a book to give people. You know, Tara lacked education, but she was so determined to learn and to grow. She has this Mormon family that doesn't believe in education, like the schooling system and doctors and their medicine. Like, all they believe in is like herbs and that kind of shit, and I just can't believe how far she's come. You know, she literally could not read or write or do anything, and she taught herself so well, and she had so much drive and ambition that she got accepted to schools such as Harvard and Cambridge. I found her to be such a difficult person and character to pin down, because while the book is about how she was able to break free from her Mormon family and strive for something more and make a life for herself, I still feel like through this book I got to know her in a way that makes me feel like she is one of the most selfless people I've ever met. I mean, all she wants is for her family to love her, but they will not accept her for who she is and who she wants to be, and no matter how successful she is, they don't understand it, and it's heartbreaking. There were so many layers to this book that just literally shot me in the heart, but one that really stood out was also the abusive element to the book. I mean, she had to deal with a lot of traumatic abuse at the hands of one of her older brothers. There's a lot of violence and aggression in this book, and I guess something, because I do love my thrillers and my horrors and stuff, so I like that bit of suspense and thrill that you get with those kind of books, and I wasn't expecting Educated to have some pretty bloody gory, gritty scenes. Like, I actually almost couldn't stomach some of them, so that's saying something. I really truly felt like she did a really good job of being quite diverse in this book. Educated is a book that I really feel should be an original Netflix TV show or a documentary or something about her life. I really feel like this, again, like Eggshell Skull, is compulsory reading. Everyone needs to read it, and I'm just amazed. Like, I'm not usually a non-fiction memoir person, but the two that I've already read so far in the first month of 2019 have blown me away. The fourth book that I just finished earlier today actually is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I know I'm in the minority here. Like, these are two of the fiction books. I should have loved them, and I hated them when I loved the non-fiction. I think my reading taste might be changing. I'm a bit confused really, but I guess, again, I'm much more of a thriller person, so I found The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo to be quite lackluster, and it didn't have that gripping suspense that I really enjoy in a book. I always thought it was a thriller, and I knew it wasn't when I went into it now, but I just feel like, so Evelyn Hugo's this like old Hollywood babe, and she's getting someone to write her memoir for her, and just recounting her days and all these marriages she's been in and stuff. And I guess maybe if it was a character that I knew, then perhaps I would have, a character I'd read her books, or watched her in movies or something, then maybe I would have been more intrigued by it. But I just felt like, why am I reading about you and your seven husbands and divorces and remarriages? And it kind of felt a bit tedious and boring to me. There was nothing particularly wrong with the writing, and there was a lot of hype around this book with its LGBT, is it LGBT? That kind of element. So I get that, and I think that's great, but I didn't think the book was really all that much to write home about. And then finally we've got the book that I'm busy reading at the moment, The Au Pair by Emma Rous. I'm really enjoying it. It's very slow paced though. I mean, I am currently 174 pages in, and really not much has actually happened. I mean, it's said to be the biggest debut of 2019, so obviously I was very excited. Being a thriller and stuff, it's like this family called I think Summerborns or something, and they have this curse in their family where twins always die, and these two twins, Danny and Seraphine, are born, and their mother jumps off of the cliffs in what people are saying is like bargaining to keep the twins alive, but people think that the fairies have come and taken away the real twins, and that Danny and Seraphine are not the actual twins. And then their dad dies in this accident, and Seraphine is going through his stuff, and she finds this picture, and she's like, oh my god, this is like, she then starts to have this like identity crisis, like, who is she? It sounds all very complicated. It's a very hard book to sum up, to be honest, but it's intriguing. I'm interested to see where it goes, because like, even though that all sounds quite silly and far-fetched, like, it's not. It's done very cleverly and subtly, so it doesn't seem like, oh, the fairies, but like, the writing is good so far. It's just very slow paced for me. I wouldn't say it's going to be the debut thriller of 2019 though, I'm sorry guys. I'll let you know, I'll keep you updated when I get back to you with my next wrap up of January. Hopefully I can get through a few more books, but who knows. Let me know what you guys are reading in the comments down below, and if you have any recommendations for a really good scary book, I mean like frighten the pants off me guys, like I really am in the mood to have a scare. You know, like the movie The Strangers, one of my favourite movies. I want something like that. Like, you guys know I don't like Stephen King's kind of monsters and aliens and all that crap. Like, you can give me a good ghost story. I do enjoy a good ghost story because you never know, ghosts could exist, but like monsters and crap, like, come on. So I just want a good scare. So if you've got any recommendations, let me know. Like, ones that I've enjoyed in the past but haven't scared me enough. The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. I also really liked his book A Head Full of Ghosts more than I liked The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. So interesting. I think Paul Tremblay is a writer I really need to look out for. But I can't really think. I mean, I read one book by Stephen King that I actually didn't find too bad. Shocking, I know. I read The Shining, which was the best book I've read by him so far. Oh my god. Guys, I really need to get back into filming more because I can't even talk anymore. On that note, I'm gonna go and read this book so I can give you guys another video at the end of the month, because I'm gonna be back now, guys, doing it. See you soon. Bye.